I just felt like making a life update since June 30th was the deadline I had to try and find a medical expert report for my small claims against the hospital that abused me. But because I had that fire and, no home and hotels, and then finding a home and everything, that took months and it was just exhausting and I couldn't get anything done. So, it's almost here and I wasn't able to get one. I'm actually really upset about that just because I really, really wanted justice for the hospital hurting me. Like, there's no excuse on what they did to me. They shouldn't do that to anybody. And I was really hoping that my case would have led by example and somehow helped prevent them from doing it to the next person, because I really don't want there to be any future me's that are suffering out there that experienced anything I did. Like, it's not okay that their male nurse elbowed me in the chest and caused pain, and then they just covered it up and didn't report it. And then when I had complained about it and my family had complained about it, still purposely didn't include it in the reports so that it was never documented. Same with when one of their staff members had used my lower half body as a stepping stool to get up from the mattress, which was really painful, and then forced injections that weren't necessary and actually could have killed me. I'm actually very, very lucky to be alive right now. I don't know how I made it. I don't know. Like, I'm surprised, honestly, with how I was treated, how I was just left alone in a freezing room without any form of water at all for like 10 hours, at least according to my health records. It was that long. There was no clocks in there, so I didn't know. It was just a very long time. And being held hostage by something called a hospital that is just not going to get reprimanded for doing so just because they have money and lawyers that protect them. And I'm just an everyday person who was normal and was having food poisoning, and they decided to essentially F up my life and not take responsibility for it. And now I have PTSD and it ruined my life. I lost hobbies I loved and I was working on every day. I'm one of those people that are like, if they had just not done that to me right now, I would be somewhere. I would have such and such songs out. I would have such and such stories out because I was this close to doing that. I was doing a music production course. I was going to start exactly that week. They had just locked me up and held me without my consent or my family consent illegally. It was all illegal. It wasn't valid. They weren't allowed to do it. They didn't get the proper documentation or ask for the substitute decision maker if they thought I wasn't competent. It was all illegal and it ruined my life, and I'm still dealing with it. It's gonna be with me forever, and that's really hard. And it's really hard to think that I've pushed so hard with everything they've done to me to try so hard in this case just to get like a little micro centimeter of justice for myself, and I feel like I failed. And it might be annoying to see these videos of me basically talking about the same thing, but I'm never gonna stop because it's my truth. It's what happened, and if I don't keep speaking about it and I just let it go silent, then that's exactly what they want. They just want me to be silent so nobody knows what happened to me, and that's it. I really, really hope I do get to a place where I can start doing music like I used to before 2021. I really want to be able to do vocal lessons and I know I've managed to write a few songs, like lyrics, and some of them are about my experience there, you know, because of course. But it's still hard. It's like there's a barrier. Anyone who's been through trauma or some form of abuse from someplace, especially that's meant to, make you feel safe, and instead makes you feel trapped and like they're gonna unalive you and no one would know what happened except for whatever story they spin. That's exactly what happened to me. And yeah, so I just hope one day I'll get to a point where somehow I'll push through it. I think the hardest part is I don't have family support. I don't have any support, so I know in the future, even just making use anyone who is just positive, any positivity is always welcome. Like, it's just amazing to have something positive in this negative life. I really do wish they didn't just get away with it so easily, though. I really did try everything I possibly could, but somehow it's just really, I don't even have the words for it. Because it's not just sad, it's like, I just really wanted to feel like there's some form of right in the world, where those who do such wrong will get judged for it, and you feel like finally I'm seen, and just it's not gonna be like that, but it is. And what's worse is they're gonna try and get money for me for trying so hard to get justice against them. And because I didn't have the funds in the first place to do a medical expert report or get a lawyer, especially with where I live, where it's so difficult because it has to be a specific type of lawyer, and there's very, very few, and the few that do all represent hospitals and represent the victims of hospitals. I did make that book about the whole experience, and the food poisoning, dehydration stories and stuff that was going on, but that was like during a really dark time where I didn't have family support or anything, and I just didn't know how to keep holding the light when nobody was helping me and fixing the wrong that I just went through. I literally went through hell and was held hostage and hit and abused both physically and mentally by a hospital, and then mentally and emotionally by my own mom when I got back. And I had no one to hug, no one wanted to say I love you. It was just me and my cat. And then I thought, oh well, all this negativity and hurt, it shouldn't be for nothing. It felt like it's just such a waste to have it for nothing. Like, if I can't get any good from it for myself, then I thought I should write it, and that was the hardest I ever did. And I will never go back and read it because I know it's not a positive, and I wouldn't like to read it. For readers, I'm sure it's fun because it didn't happen to them. But for me, it's just I know I accidentally read a part and I was like, that sounds so bad. So I wouldn't do that again. And it's not the book I wanted, not the book I intended to have published first. It was one I put my heart and soul into before the hospital. And it wasn't the one that I had out, which was Ashes to Dust, a memoir. So hope for good things in the future, honestly.